Happy anniversary, Blue Bomber. 30 years in the game. This would be the point of the video. I tell you who I am, I tell you where you at, and I tell you we live. Not today. No. Can't. It's disrespectful. For people who've been kicking it with your boy at least since '09, one of the first stories, when I was still getting used to what it was that I did, one of the first real stories that I ever told about me trying to be a little bit more personable with the streets was how I played Mega Man 1 through 6 after my mom died, because I needed to find something to just forget for just a little while that my life sucks ass. And those games did it for me. A couple of years later, when Run That Rex started, I played, because that first year Run That Rex was, I need to play these games, because if I'm going to sit up here and I'm really going to dive in and I'm going to tell my story, I need y'all to know where I come from. I didn't play everything that first year that I wanted to. And one of the things I really wanted to play was a review I did earlier this year for Database Guy, that being Mike Tyson Punch-Out. But I played Mario Brothers. I followed that up by playing the first 3 X games on SNES. I followed those because those games were important as my growth as a video gamer. I'm like, those games ultimately led back into the thing we just talked about, because I didn't have much familiarity with the classic series until life introduced the opportunity to explore and be a part of it, because I played 7, I played a little bit of 8, you know what I'm saying? I played those games, but I really didn't know like what the classic series was, and sometimes you gotta take lemons and make lemonade. And that opportunity was presented to me, and I'm glad I did. Over the years, I've had a wonderful time. I'm like, here's a fun fact about me. I am a non-secreted, closeted fan of the Battle Network series. Like, I love those games to death, and I own them all, because I was a non-believer in what Battle Network was for like 2 seconds, because I just thought that, man, it's biting Pokemon. Like, why is Mega Man doing this? I sat down, played it, and got addicted quick. And just the game, the series, they grew and grew. I'm like, I really didn't get into Star Force much. I really didn't. I wanted to, still do. I still want to play, what was that? Was that Operate Shooting Star? That I think somebody to this day has been for years trying to fully translate that video game. But it is what it is with that. Of course you got Mega Man Zero, right? And it's like, yeah, games that maybe shouldn't have been on a Game Boy Advance. I'm just saying, maybe games that shouldn't have been on a Game Boy Advance. I'm just saying, but I love playing through 0, 1 through 4. I enjoyed my time playing through the ZX series, and I still hunger for more of that. You know what I'm saying? I still hunger for more of that. I'm like, let's keep it 1,000, right? Mega Man 9 is, I don't think I want to use the word single-handedly responsible. I don't, because that's an irresponsible term for me to use. But Mega Man 9 showed there was something in being true and going back to where you came from remembering why you love this stuff in the first place. And that's what Mega Man 9 did for me. It's like Mega Man 9 reminded me why I love this stuff. Like, it just reminded me why I love this stuff, why I am a video game fan. And it's like, there was one other game that really did that for me, and I will not tell that story here, but that story's coming. 30 years though. Regardless of all that, 30 years in the game. You don't have a lot of franchises that can say that. You could count them on one or two of your hands, maybe, of franchises that made it 30 years and are as influential and as responsible for what Mega Man is to what it is that we love. So, I sit here as a fan that, yo, I've played all the classic series games, then beat them all up and down. The Game Boys ones too. Everyone in the world should play Mega Man V at least once. That's just something you should do. That's your permanent homework assignment for this video. Go play Mega Man V. You owe it to yourself. It is not one of the best Game Boy games. It is one of the best video games, period, because of what it does. I had the pleasure and opportunity to finally sit and discover that for myself a couple of years ago when I finally was able to get a copy off eBay and not pay insane prices for one. Because I could have played it in the emulator and probably should have. But it's like, I was just on eBay and somebody was just selling a cart for like $30. I'm like, I've always wanted to play this game. I've heard good things about this game. Buy it now. I sat and I threw it. I didn't throw it in the Game Boy play, no. I threw it in the Super Game Boy, full throwback. And loved every minute of it. I loved every minute of it so much that I wrote about it. It's on my blog that I semi keep up, and if I remember, I'll link it. But it's a wonderful thing. I love this franchise to death. Again, like I said, I opened this up with like, yo, one of the first stories I ever told was about like how the classic series helped me through the toughest time in my life. And that was like the really first time on YouTube it documented my life when I figured out that it's more than about playing video games. That my life and the things in it are intertwined with this art form. And it was in that I understood and still do now and still believe that my story combined with my experiences with the video game art form is what make what I do unique. Cause people do their thing, but I don't see y'all doing it how y'all doing it. It ain't a shot over the bow or a diss, cause if it was, I'd say your name. But I know when I opened up and I told that story that I bared my soul, because I just need someone else to just hear my pain on that one. I'm like, it is what it is. Even all that. Here we are right now. In the now of all of this. I just quickly downloaded the live stream, screwed through it, you know what I'm saying? Watched the Mega Man 11 trailer. Because I wasn't going to get on here and react to a trailer. No. I wanted to have that something personal. Like, I get on the mic and we do the trailer thing because it's a fun, dumb thing to do. Because it's a fun, dumb thing that I enjoy doing. This was a little different because I knew I wanted to keep this purely journalism, purely professional, and purely in a way because I knew that because this was what it was, I needed to pour my heart out on the mic because of how much this franchise means to me and how responsible this franchise is for the person you fear and respect today. Given all that, before I talk about Mega Man 11 and Mega Man 11 and Mega Man 11, there were two other announcements, you know what I'm saying, about what Capcom is going to do to celebrate this milestone. The first thing is, well, you know, we're going to put the Legacy Collection 1 and 2 on Switch and with Amiibo support and stuff. And then we're gonna release the Mega Man X collection, which is the thing that you seemingly makes sense. Here's where I sit on this. My stance has not changed. has not in any way changed about what the Legacy Collection 1 and 2 could have been if they would have done such and such. And just because, we full surface right now, let me remind you, the Mega Man Legacy Collection 1 does not include the Game Boy games. Again, reminder, your homework assignment, go play Mega Man V. You go play the Mega Man IV. That game is great, but Mega Man V, capitalizes on that game in a way that makes it truly original. The Star Droids are wonderful bosses for Mega Man to trounce over, and it's just a wonderful experience from in the end. But you should experience the Game Boy games because, see, I ended up playing those a couple of years ago. And what I gained from that was the Game Boy games came a long way from Dr. Wily's Revenge to Mega Man V. And that is a course that needs to be experienced by every gamer. Because you really need to see that the NES games kicking ass. Then it's like, yo, we got this Game Boy, let's do it. You start off rocky, you figure out what to do, and you improve, and you improve, and you improve, and you get to one of the greatest games ever made. I put my stamp on Mega Man V as one of the greatest games ever made. That game is just that good. It's just that good. And if you haven't played it and you hear my pleas, give yourself 3 or 4 hours. Go look up a guide or read that blog post I wrote about the nice long story about how you properly conquer that game and how to do it. You know what? I usually say I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna link it just to make sure that I'm helping you with your homework assignment to get that in, get it done. So I got you. Don't worry about it. Amiibo support. I'm like, okay, that's a thing. Here's my other problem. I need to repeat what my problem is with the Legacy Collection 2. No power battle, no power fighters, no Mega Man in base. See, I'm even willing to back up a tad on the Mega Man 8 on that collection isn't the Saturn version. I'm willing to back up off that cliff. Because see, I can't hold it against people who do emulating jobs and things like that no one has still been able to successfully, for real, emulate the Saturn at this point. So there you go. One of these days, I'm going to get enough money. I'm going to own a copy of Mega Man 8 on the Saturn because that is something that belongs in my collection. I've gotten close a few times on eBay, but got outbid at the last second, or it's a little too much for me. I'm going to get it done. It just is what it is with that. Again, I said this when we talked about the Legacy Collection 2 earlier this year, is if you want a way to experience the Power Battle and the Power Fighters, go buy Rockman Power Battle Fighters on PS2. I know I'm asking you to pull out a PlayStation 2 in the year 2017, but it's either that or emulated in MAME. But the Power Battle Fighters on PS2 puts enough extra in there to make it worth looking at. And it is one of the games that I proudly own in my collection. I am very legitimately surprised that Capcom never got around to releasing it as a PS2 classic in any way. At this point, for the 30th anniversary, they should just throw that up there. Just throw that up there. Just have somebody put some trophies in there and just call it a day. Just because it would be a nice way for people to experience that. Or if you wanted to, and again, like I said, if you wanted to go the extra mile with things like that, you put the games in a nice collection, put some online in there for some online co-op because those games support 2 people in there. And with the what is that? The Power Battle has Mega Man, Proto Man, and Base, and the Power Fighters has Duo. And you're supposed to play the Power Fighters before you play Mega Man 8 to explain what Duo's doing there. Some weird, whatever. But yeah, if you want to properly play the series, you play the power. You play the power. You play the Power Fighters before you play Mega Man 8. That's just what you do. It's what you're supposed to do. Not a lot of people did. I played the Power Battle Fighters once, and I remember playing it because I was at a Chuck E. Cheese and I had no idea what was going on. But I played the game once, actually in living color. So that's what it is. Those were my issues with those games, and they need to be re-brought up. But I don't know what they're going to do with the Switch version. It's just going to be that on the Switch, and you press an amiibo, and magic things happen. Am I getting a roll amiibo out of this? Because that's the only thing I would legitimately actually care about. Because, see, that's the thing you do to Player 1 and Player 2 things. Give me Classic roll, give me Mega Man 8 roll, and if you want to, give me one of them rolls from Mega Man Powered Up, and we will be speaking a little bit about that later. All that aside, to just re-complain about stuff that I complained about already, which are actually legitimate complaints. Oh, and did I say something about Mega Man and Bass? Yeah, I could have translated that. Somebody did. Well, somebody translated that game 50 billion internet years ago, technically, so they could have licensed the translation or actually did the work themselves because, again, even though Mega Man and Bass is technically Mega Man 8.5 with a couple recycled bosses, it's a part of the legacy of the franchise, so why would you ignore it like it doesn't exist? I don't know. That's not my problem. It's a legitimate gripe, and I would like to own a card of Mega Man and Bass. I really would. Or I should say, and Bass as a throwback thing that I did years ago when I did all that stuff about Mega Man 10. You can watch that on the channel. Here's where it gets interesting, because here is where I actually get to magically levy the thing that I actually get to say. In the no dub, you get a Mega Man X collection. Mega Man X1 through Mega Man X8, and no idea what versions Mega Man X3 or Mega Man X4 are going to be, how we're going to be launching Zero into space and killing him in X5 is going to be, whether or not Mega Man X6 is actually going to have the Japanese voice acting, stuff and questions we don't know. Do you actually have to play Mega Man X7? It's actually a semi-decent game, but Mega Man X8 is probably one of the best in the series, but no one played it because X7 turned everybody off. That is a thing that happened. Regardless of that, here are some things that are not going to happen. Maverick Hunter X is not going to be a part of any of these collections. If you want to play the game, this is what you do. You go buy a PlayStation TV, you go get yourself $10, and you go buy Maverick Hunter X on PSN, and you sit down and call it a day. You may also want to, buy some other stuff in there, like Mega Man Powered Up. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Ultimate Ghosts and Goblins is on PSN, where you can play it on the Vita. Play that too. That game is amazing. But then I would then equally tell you to go play Maki Murakai, but that's another conversation entirely. Here is my one issue, my one real issue, because again, all them complaints I spent 3 or 4 minutes talking about the Legacy Collection 1 and 2, they are brought back up here, but they are a lot more important for reasons you may not even consider. Mega Man Extreme 1 and Mega Man Extreme 2. Now, it's one thing, when we talked about the Mega Man Game Boy games, they have somewhat canonicity, mainly Mega Man V, and less the other series where they introduce characters, but not the events that happened in, because Mega Man canon is weird. When it comes to Mega Man Extreme 1 and 2, those games are actually canon to the Mega Man X series, but you wouldn't know that because when the series actually mentioned those events, they mentioned them in the blink of an eye, but the events of Mega Man Extreme 2 are very important to Mega Man X4 and Mega Man X5, but again, you wouldn't know that because, we just failed to mention that, that Game Boy game you played, that's a remake and a remix of things you're already familiar with. It's actually canon to this series, but hey, you don't know that. These collections are not going to include those two games. They're not. They are not. That simple. It is what it is, and I have to accept that. So I know coming up front, you're not going to get Maverick Hunter X. Maverick Hunter X is an important game for a magical reason, because I wanted to see what Inafune could really do if he really could rewrite the crazy weird canon that came in Mega Man X. Well, he did one thing right. Hey, drop a bomb on Dr. Kane's house. Let's just do that. Like, we ain't doing nothing. Drop a bomb on this old man's house. Eliminate him and introduce navigators, like 5 games before they mattered. Thank you, Alia. Anyway, see, we do these things. So I guess what I'm saying is you should go play Mega Man Extreme 1 and 2 when you get the opportunity, because Mega Man Extreme happens between X2 and X3, and Mega Man Extreme 2 happens between X3 and X4. And I really suggest if you play one of those games, you play Mega Man Extreme 2 just to get the story beats. Yeah, you could read a wiki article and cheat, but again, another homework assignment for you. Go play Mega Man Extreme 2. But play Mega Man Extreme 1. That game is really cool. And it's like that game has a lot of quality of life things in the game that make the game fun and to play on a boardable. And I also wrote something about that. So I'll also be linking that in the description just in case you need some help to, go take down things I won't spoil for you. Let me see. Am I forgetting anything that I wish to levy? But I know I said these things, but let me make sure I said the things that I said the things. Who knows what version X3 or X4 is going to be? Again, like I said, how screwed up is shooting Zero into space and killing him going to be in X5 so you can press 3 buttons and skip straight to the end game if that's what you want? Or skip to the end game and actually let it matter so you can do the things you want to do so you can play the game any way you choose, because that's why those options are there. Again, I have no idea if X6 is going to have the Japanese voice acting, because they took it out the Mega Man X collection on the PS2, and I have no idea why they did that. So, X7 is X7, and as long as they don't fix that glitch in X8, everything will be okay. It is what it is. Pushing all that aside, pushing all of it aside, Mega Man 11. Honestly, my honest first thought when that long trailer of Mega Man's history turned into Mega Man 11 and I saw Mega Man 11, I just looked at it. Why isn't this Mega Man powered up too? Like, I am not being an ungrateful son of a, all of that. No. I just looked at that and was like, this could be Mega Man powered up too, because, that's what you really want. You really wanted those cute chibi designs to go to Robot Masters you love. Not saying that we didn't love the original 6, the one that looked like a racist and the one that could kind of sort of freeze time a little bit, but hey, what you gonna do? I thought Oil Man looked gangster even though, the whole racism thing, but anyway, I like what I saw. That's it. I'm gonna play the hell out of it. There's no reason to complain. I'm gonna play the hell out of it. Like, the thing is, that I forgot to mention through all of this is the last time we really did this, we got something amazing in Mega Man 9. I'm like, that game is, and I'm trying to make sure I'm using my words properly. That game is very, very, very damn near single-handedly responsible for every retro revival that followed it. See, people was doing dirt. People was HD and stuff, doing this, doing that. Mega Man 9 took it to the throwback. Showed you that the throwback worked. I remember the first time I saw that trailer, her Tornado Man thing. It blew my mind. Mega Man 9, I had fun playing it, and because I had just came off of my trip through the classic series through 1 through 6 because I had beat 7 and the hardest Wily machine in history. Let's please not mention it. And had that experience of those games and played Mega Man 8 and all that. Well, I appreciated 9 as a true fan of the way that the classic series worked. It took it, made it really throwback, gave you Splash Woman and everything that comes with making a female robot master, including all that stuff you shoot all that you don't have no business. Mega Man 9 was an amazing game. Mega Man 10, I appreciate, because see, before I say that, let me say this. Mega Man 10 wasn't the best Mega Man game in the world. But here is what I said a long time ago, and I'll say it again right now just on wax, right? Mega Man 9 and 10, each represented something special. Mega Man 9 represented we can. That's simple. I may have said it convoluted some years ago, but I'm finna say it straight up now. It represented that we can. That if anybody can, the Blue Bomber can bring us back to the throwback era. To show us that, 8-bit don't die. And it's like everything that was inspired because Mega Man 9 wasn't scared to do it. And you have Anti-Creates to thank for that. Just like you do for the Zero and the ZX series, you have Anti-Creates to thank for how amazing Mega Man 9 was because they knew, understood, and appreciated what made Mega Man work. Mega Man 10, like I said, wasn't the best game, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed all the extra things you can do. Kind of a shame that that Proto Man Nor Base could use, you know what I'm saying, Anchor Punk and Balaz's weapons, but you know. There are codes and glitches for that kind of sort of make it work. But Mega Man 10, and now that I think about it, was the way that it opened was a throwback to Mega Man 7 when it was celebrating the anniversary. And Mega Man 10 showed that good heroes never die. And if that wasn't the case, I wouldn't be on the mic this long talking about the 30th anniversary of the Blue Bomber, now would I? Exactly my point. The question that I said up after I've done all this talking is, what does Mega Man 11 represent? If it represents anything at all. Is that, like I said, Mega Man 9 was a reminder. Mega Man 10 reminded us. Mega Man 11 is a combination of both reminding you and reminding you in all ways that you can be reminded that this is one of the cornerstones of an art form that we love. That Mega Man 9 has its history. It's good, it's bad, it's ugly. What doesn't? I like what I saw. I did. I like exactly what it was that I saw simply because it's more Mega Man. That Mega Man 11 could have been stick figures shooting pencil beams, and I'd have been, it's Mega Man. Let me get that right now, sir. Just let me get that, sir, ma'am. If they attack helicopter, let me get that, homie. Let me get some of that right there. Let me get that. It's what it is. I'm glad that I didn't sit up here and watch this trailer. I'm glad that I had that something personal so that I could sit here because, again, like I said earlier, you know what I'm saying, for you that stayed this long, is this franchise and I have a history. Just me and this, I fell in love with this franchise when I played Mega Man X for the first time. I played the classic series a little bit, dabbled here, dabbled there, but Mega Man X made me fall in love with this franchise. Having that opportunity, even how nasty it came, to experience what the classic series is and really having a love for it, changed me. Being a secret fan of the Battle Network series, Hey, I love that stuff. Mega Man Zero, like I said, for all intents and purposes, thank you, NTQH, for, almost making me break 2 Game Boy Advances. Y'all owe me 2 Game Boy Advances, and I ain't talking about the SPs, I'm talking about the fat purple boys. Like, I got mad one time and threw one across the room, and then I kind of bent the other one a little bit because I'm sitting up here dying on stuff I know I ain't got no business. But now if you want to play Mega Man Zero, you know what I'm saying, you can play it on the Wii now, so Wii U actually. So if you don't own the carts like I do, or own the Zero collection on DS, get it on the Virtual Console. Ain't gonna hurt you. I'm just sitting here right now, as we sitting up here and I'm on the mic and I'm doing this, it's just like, today was a good day. Today was a good day simply because Capcom remembered. I remember when X-Over came out. I remember, like, as a fan of how, like, this is the best you got. Then hearing that Mega Man X9 was an alleged thing at some point, and all those other rumors, is like, series was in a weird space for a minute. I don't know if Mega Man 11 is what's going to, reinvigorate this franchise, for you to get an X9, for you to get a new Battle Network series. I don't know what really you could mechanically do with Mega Man ZX or Mega Man Zero or anything like that. Like, what you gonna do with Star Force? You know what I'm saying? Omega Sys, blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you got a lot of these series that have ran their course, so no reason to go back to them. Somebody finna translate it, Operate Shooting Star. I'd appreciate it. Thanks. We're trying here. We're trying. That, I'm like, Mega Man 11 isn't some weird return to form. It's just more of what you love. And from the little bit that I done heard is that it's trying to be a Mega Man game that's accessible to everybody. But that's everything nowadays. It isn't about common denominators or status quos anymore. It's about being open, for having something for everybody to enjoy. And that's what I've learned. I'm like, I learned that lesson really hard when I had to get over myself that the King of Fighters 14 has a press a button thing in it. When I had to understand that this is still the King of Fighters that I love, but it just has a little feature for people to enjoy who don't enjoy the games as fervently as I do. And Mega Man 11, for what I've seen, is going to be that, and I appreciate that. I don't know how many more times Dr. Wily can really legitimately go to jail if Proto Man or Base are actually playable in this game. But I did see my favorite dog Rush. I'm like, I wonder if Mega Man 11 gonna have hidden episodes of the Ruby Spears cartoon on it. Super Fighting Robot Mega Man. Still a classic. Still a classic. Still a classic. I'm talked out though. I am. I could keep going, but I like to actually go to bed. I like to actually produce this video. There are things I have to watch. There are things that need to be seen by me. And I'm just glad that that I just had some time to get on the mic and just do what I do better than anybody in the business. For anybody who made it to the end of this, let me give you a little something before we get up out of here. We won't be doing business this way much longer. Just keep that in your hat. Tell your friends if they didn't make it to the end. We won't be doing business this much longer. You'll see soon. Y'all go ahead and get up out of here. Mega Man, thank you. Thank you for being a hero that we can all believe in. Something we can aspire to. Just thanks for being you, for being amazing, and continue to be amazing. And I'll always be here to make sure that you always put Dr. Wiley in his place and say today, it's the least I can do to be of help. And thank you for helping me be a better gamer and a better person, really enough. I'm the one and the only, the triple the G.O.D. I'd like to welcome you, thank you, and thank you once again for joining me for another installment of Triple the Guy Speaks On. Oh, you didn't think because I didn't get it in the beginning that I wasn't going to get it in? Come on. Don't be crazy. Don't do that. I'm the one and the only, the triple the G.O.D. Just in case you forgot, because I'm clowning now. I'd like to thank all of you for joining me for another installment of Triple the Guy Speaks On, live on Team GRF TV. Indeed, sir. Indeed, Mega Man. You are indeed a super fighting robot. Thank you.